Um, all right, y'all. Hello. It is day 11 of the journal challenge. I have a guest with me today, my precious. Hello. Say hi. Hello. So I need to turn this music off, y'all. I'm just vibing to it. You know, Facebook don't like this. I do not own the rights to this music, but I'm vibing to it. It's this who is this? It's Erykah Badu Healer, but I'm trying to think of the Smooth Jazz All Stars. That's that grown woman. Y'all know nothing about that. Let me turn this off before I go to Facebook jail, okay? All right. Hey, Lori. Say hi. We have a guest. We have a guest today. Tania is our guest today. So today we are talking about freedom, okay? And so there are many different kinds of freedom. We have physical freedom. We have yes, Jazz. We have emotional freedom, mental freedom, many different kinds. But today we're going to be talking about mental and emotional freedom and kind of what that looks like. Day one was bondage. And think about bondage. We know that freedom is the opposite. Okay. Freedom is the opposite of bondage. Okay. And so let's see. You always know that for one, we always start off thinking about our intentions and what we did today. And when we woke up today or throughout our day, what do we do to bring us closer to our best self? What do we do to bring us closer to our best self? Okay, so we think about that. And when we think about freedom, that's a part of that. You know, we want to be free. That's what our intentions are, our goals are, our values are. We are thinking about being free. Okay, and so when we think about mental and emotional freedom, we want to ask ourselves some questions. And basically, think about, are you giving yourself the permission to be yourself? That's what freedom is. Having the permission to be you, to show up as yourself. And when we are not free, we put on different masks. We hold on to beliefs and value systems and whatever the kind of beliefs. It could be spiritual beliefs, family traditions, whatever it is that we really don't feel resonate with us or that we really don't embrace. And so when we think about that, we want to think about how can we detach from some things that we were told to believe when we grew up? How can we detach from some things that we were told to believe? And so it brings us to our first question, which is, where in your life are you not taking accountability for a non-favorable outcome? Where in your life are you not taking accountability for a non-favorable outcome? And what that is about is looking at, I'm not being myself. I'm not giving myself the permission to be myself. I'm showing up as someone else. I'm sending my representative, and maybe I have something that went on in my career, something that went on in my family or relationship, whatever it is. Maybe, finances in a mess. Where are you not taking accountability? A lot of the things that we have go on, that we're all accountable in some kind of way. It's not blameless accountability. Is rooted in our value systems and rooted in our mindset, things that maybe we have held on to that we need to release because it's no longer serving us. So we need to look at that. And basically what we're talking about is detachment. And so as you think about that, give some consideration to who you would be if you were not worried about what someone else thought. Who you would be if you were not worried about what someone else thought. Like, what would you believe or embrace? And just, I mean, give it some thought. I don't expect you to necessarily write that down right now. I'm asking that you all have a journal, you know, that's dedicated solely to this. So you don't necessarily need to answer that right now, but really give that some thought, because these are some kind of really deep discovery questions when we think about who would I be? You know, what is it that I truly believe? What am I uncomfortable with? What am I just holding on to because it's the way I grew up, or it's what I've been told, or maybe it most represents who you used to be and not who you are aspiring to be. So think about that. Let's see here. Think about how maybe your experience would differ in your life if you walked in forgiveness and not resentment. Unforgiveness has us really in bondage. You cannot be free if you're walking around mad at somebody about some stuff, whatever it is. You know, you cannot be free if you're not forgiving yourself about some stuff, whatever that might be. And so think about how your experiences would differ. What would you embrace? You know, how would your life look? How richer and more cultivated would things be in your life if you came from a place of love and led with your heart, instead of, you know, digging deep into things from the past? Most of the time we have problems with, you know, not forgiving ourselves. We can be our own worst critics sometimes. There's a difference in assessment and accountability and development. There's a line of that from, you know, blame, damaging talk, you know, feeling like, you know, we are not worthy, things like that. So think about that. These are all things that are tied to our freedom, okay? We also want to look at how our experiences would differ if we spoke our truth freely and lovingly and with clarity, okay? How would life be different for you? Speaking your truth is about freedom, because it is about being yourself. I'm not saying telling people off. I'm not saying, oh yeah, you know, I just keep it 100. I just keep it real. I just say whatever. No, that's not in love. That's not rooted in love. You got to check your intentions at the door when you do that, okay? But how would things differ? How would your experiences differ if you spoke your truth? If you let people know, you know, this is how I am feeling, or this is what I have perceived. We have to be careful that we don't say, this is how you made me feel, because in essence, I can't make you feel any kind of way. And that's another thing, since I said that. Stop saying that too, which I'm guilty of it too. But we need to stop saying you made me feel some kind of way. Just put the emotion in there. How did I make you feel? You made me feel, and fill in the blank, you know, instead of the feel some kind of way thing that we like to do. And so when we check in with ourselves and speak truth in love, then we are, you know, walking in freedom. We're walking in forgiveness, because a lot of times we think about forgiveness, we haven't really expressed what's really wrong sometimes. And so the other person's walking around, have no idea you mad. I didn't even know you was mad. What you mad for? You know, I didn't even know. So it's about communicating, okay? Let's see. Also, how would your experiences be if you showed up without unspoken expectations? Like if you just arrive into a situation, arrive at a place or a space, you know, and didn't have expectations that were not spoken. Again, when we talk about being free, we have to also realize that we need to let other people walk in their freedom as well and embrace the journeys that they are on. And I told you all before in another video, I'm not sure which one. I think it was boundaries, but don't quote me, but it doesn't matter. It's still the same, that Expectations are premeditated resentments. Expectations are premeditated resentments. And it's because when I expect something from you that either I communicated or I didn't, whichever the case may be, when you don't do what I expected you to do, now I resent you. And so we have to be clear that as we walk into situations, how will we experience life in a freer way if we didn't have those expectations of people? We would experience deeper and richer relationships, okay? And so I know these were a series of questions, but a question that's really related to freedom that I want you to really consider in your journal is think about some beliefs and ideas that you are holding on to that you are uncomfortable with, okay? All of these things that I have said, maybe you don't even agree with what I said. Maybe you don't agree that, expectations are premeditated resentments. You think about why that is. Maybe you don't agree that, forgiveness is necessary. Just think about it, because we say that, but do we really believe that? Think about, you might have an idea about friendships and relationships that is, contrary to popular belief, and that is okay. So think about that. So think about all of your beliefs and kind of check off, I believe this, but this doesn't really line up and it's not in alignment. Remember, we talked about alignment. It's not really in alignment with what I was taught. Okay, it's not good or bad. It's about you. It's about your true self, and that's what freedom is, just being who you are. Again, we're talking about mental and emotional freedom. This is what leads us to mental and emotional freedom. There's all types of freedom, so we're really focused on that because we're talking about self-discovery, okay? And so that brings us to our affirmation, and that is, I am free to release people, ideas, and circumstances that don't evolve me. I am free to release people, ideas, and circumstances that don't evolve me. This is important. We have to know that there is a time of release. Okay, we're talking about the opposite of bondage. And so we need to understand that if there is an idea that doesn't serve you, a belief system, a person, a circumstance, you have to be free. Okay, and you have to release that. I don't believe in the whole, everybody, I'm cutting so-and-so off for the new year or whatever. Listen, you don't wait for New Year's in a new week, in a new moon or whatever to do to release. I think release to me is a better word, because you do that in the moment that it needs to be done. Okay, you do that in the moment that it needs to be done, because when you wait, then you're in bondage. So it's about self-inventory, and also you need to release things because you're not growing. You don't have to always hold on to something because it's been around. You don't have to believe something because you were told or taught that. So you really need to just do this self-inventory and think about, I just don't feel comfortable with that anymore. Because why? We talked about adjustments on, I don't remember, day 4 or 5. And adjustments is, we talked about making a, I think we talked about making a pivot that day. That's basically changing your mind, turning around. So this is something that you have to embrace and understand. This is okay. Give yourself permission to be that way, okay? Again, this is day 11. If you want to send your questions to your inbox, that way you don't have to kind of like scroll through looking for the videos. You can question. Really, asking you, if you don't mind, send me a email. So we froze. We froze, y'all. Shoot me an email, inbox, or anything like that, just to let me know how you are doing and how I can better serve you. And if there's anything that maybe you want to talk about during this month. We're going to be doing this every day for the month of January. So again, I thank you. Thank you for listening. I will see you tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, if you want the questions to your inbox, text journal 30 to 39492. Good night. Say good night, baby.
Good night. Good night.